Peace and love, creatives. Today we are going to play with dun, 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 Paul Ruben's watercolors. And now this is the 48 set, and to accompany Sir Ruben, I found these. And I just was very curious. So it says they're watercolor pencils. They say soft pen refill, high purity colors, strong coverage, 48 colors. Now I'm curious to know if these colors match these colors, and if they play well together. So let's get into it now. As far as these pencils are concerned, I've already swatched them in my little swatch book. Where are they? Where are you, Paul Ruben pencils? No, those are cute. Okay. Ooh. And they swatch really pretty. Like, these are the pencils. I laid them on really thick though, so we'll see how they play without being laid on thick. All right, so since I did the pencils already, I'm going to swatch the paint. And after trying to figure out how to lay my palette on the side so that the camera can get a good view and you can get a good view and you could see the whole page, I decided I was missing a whole entire page of swatch, little swatch hats. So I ended up having to just do more shapes of the Paul Ruben's hat. And that's pretty much what I did for the swatching. Like I said, this is a fun swatching book. Like, this is just for my enjoyment. So what I did was I made the shape of Paul Ruben's hat, and on the end you can see that there is a Paul Ruben shape gentleman over there. And what I did was I used a Posca to like make his beard, and that's going to be showing the opacity of the white when I get to it. Now, fun fact, and if anyone can find it, leave it in the comments. Which color did I miss? Because for some reason I have an extra swatch space, and it's okay because it's not, it's not going to go in my it's not going to go in the paint tin. I need to make a separate one just for that. This, like I said, was just for fun. But I just thought it's so funny that I get to the end and I'm like, oh, I definitely missed a color. So if anybody sees the color that I miss, just throw it down in the comments at the timestamp so that I can swatch it on my book. If you don't see it, that's okay. As far as the colors, they're really fun colors. I like them. They're vibrant and pretty. So I'm looking forward to making a painting with them. But I was trying to, before I did the swatches, I was trying to find the colors that matched in the pencil set. And I quickly realized that the way they named the pencils is different from the way they named the paints. And it makes sense because, paints have like specific names that they like to keep so that people kind of know more or less what the color is going to look like a burnt umber and all that. Although there was a burnt umber in the pencils, some of them, there was no pencil to match it. But as far as the colors and swatching, they pretty much, they're colors that definitely lend to each other. So if you want to get this set and the pencil set and want to use them together, I don't think you're going to have a problem with that. I will go more in detail because I'm going to just do a drawing. I figured I'll do a drawing with just the pencils and paint it and show you how that waterfalls on the paper, and then right beside it on the same kind of paper, do a sketch and a painting with the paints, and just, you know, put them side by side and see what we think about, you know, how they look together. Now, I'm not big on color pencils, watercolor pencils, but I don't know, they just intrigued me. So I figured, why not try them? So try them I did. And I sketched this off camera with the yellow pencil in the watercolor pencil set. And my reason for doing that was pretty much because I knew it would dissolve once I put water on it. So I didn't have to worry about the hard lines. I did want to outline it, so that's what the ink is all about. But I definitely let the ink sit for, I don't think it was a day, but definitely a couple of hours, just in case. I don't want it to ruin my painting. And sometimes if you don't let permanent ink sit long enough, you're gonna be having a very muddy painting. So just let it sit, take a break, get yourself a nice coffee or whatever, and just let it do its thing and dry. Here I am just coloring in the parts of the background that I want like a gradient going into like a darker purple all the way to the top. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping that the pencils, when I activate it with water, blend into each other and give that nice gradient. We'll see in the future how that goes. But for now, just enjoy the coloring process. So I wanted to get the paint down, well, activated before I started on her actual face and body and all that. Just to see, number one, just to see how it looks, and to just get it all, you know, just get it going. Actually, I didn't say the paper that I was using. The paper that I'm using is my Arches watercolor sketchbook that I handmade in a couple of videos back, and that's what I'm using because I have to use this watercolor paper. I have been not using the watercolor paper because I've been treating it like precious and everything, and I'm like, you know what am I doing? I made a sketchbook with Arches watercolor paper to draw and paint and get better at watercolor painting. What's going on? Why am I not doing it? So yeah, that's what I did. Moving on to her face, I honestly didn't know how to approach it, so I kind of did it like I colored it like I would color in marker and do the shading and all of that, and I was hoping for the best that I kind of got it, or close to it, so that I can tweak it when I was done. But that was my goal, just get the shades and the color that I wanted down and activate it, and hopefully we get a good skin color. Yeah, so while activating the pencil, I figured I would have to do layers, but it was difficult. I was having a hard time trying to figure out how to get everything the way I wanted it by using the pencil. But I mean, it's trial and error, right? And this is the first piece that I'm doing with the color pencils and with the watercolor pencils. So it's going to be, and I'm going to make mistakes basically. So I figured I would do her shirt the same color as her eyes, just to keep the colors limited and not, you know, all over the place. Using color pencils watercolor pencils is definitely a totally like different experience than using the watercolors themselves. But I have to say, like, if you want to add something and you want it to be like a little bit more precise, maybe this would be a great option or addition to your watercolor set. And being that they are both the same company, they seem to lend well to each other. The names don't completely match, but they lend well to each other as far as colors are concerned. Here I am just trying to like sharpen up all my edges and make everything look a little bit more crispier. So I'm using a acrylic paint pen to like clean up the lines and add my little highlights. I go in between that pen and the black acrylic paint pen. And what I did with the black acrylic paint pen was just sharpen the lines on her. Instead of going in with a color pencil, a watercolor pencil, or a color pencil, I was like, you know what? I think this is going to make my piece pop a little bit more. So I added it. I felt like it was a good addition. I don't know if it hurts my comparison to the watercolor, but I do, and I do end up doing the same thing with the watercolor painting too. Now I try to cut this video down a lot. This is like over 3 hours of footage, so I'm just trying to cram in as much as possible for you to see, but also cram in enough so that you're not bored and you're like, okay, Elisa, let's go get it over with. So hopefully there's a nice middle and you're enjoying the process. So moving on to my next piece, instead of using the watercolor pencil to create my character, I end up using my Prismacolor Cool Erase pencil and I do the sketch, which we're not gonna show. But what I will show is my method for choosing the colors to kind of like match the Paul Ruben watercolor pencils. And I'm just swatching, I'm making a swatch sheet with the colors and I'm comparing them to the pencils that I used, which I just wanted to give like a fair comparison of the colors and how they would look. So that's what I'm doing here. And because of my error in swatching in the first place, I couldn't find the color I was looking for, but I ended up finding it. So here we go with the first painting. And I really think I'm gonna like speed it up a lot, but I really want you to see as much of the footage as possible, because I think it's important just to see the difference with the paints versus the pencil. So although I'm going to speed it up, I don't want to take out too much of the process, just so you can see how the colors play together. And I hope that it's okay. If you need to speed it up, that's fine. I'm okay with that. If you want to go to the end and see the final results with a side-by-side comparison, that's fine too. If you want to stay and watch the paint process, you're more than welcome to. It's up to you. But here, instantly, like the you can tell just the gradient and the acceptance of the colors of one another, even though they're not the same colors and they're not similar. They just like marry to each other a lot cleaner than how I had it with the pencil. So that's something to consider. As far as the pencils are concerned, I don't know. I think that they play very well together. I think that if you're traveling and you don't want to take watercolor paints, but you want to do watercolor type drawings, pencils are a great option. So these might serve for that purpose. If you have smaller children that you might want to do paintings with and you don't think that they're ready for actual pans, but you want to introduce them to watercolor and how they play, and just show them how much fun and versatile they are, you can introduce these watercolor pencils to them. And I think they're really cool. I love the tin. I'm not even gonna lie, when I saw the tin I was like, yeah, I gotta have that. It just was so cool, and it had like the eyes looking at you, like every time, wherever you put it, it was like staring at you. So I thought it was cool, and I was like, yeah, let's do it, let's get it. Now, I had her pose kind of weird. So I ended up having to put her like kind of like resting on a cloud. I wanted her to be facing the other art piece, and I wanted the other art piece to be facing her, like, I don't know, I thought it was like cool to do it like that. And I just basically wanted the art pieces to kind of like marry to each other. So you'll see in the end what I'm talking about. I definitely wanted them to look like they were just one piece instead of two separate pieces, so that either the pencils did a good job or as good of a job as the watercolors, or they didn't, kind of like comparing them like that, but they're right side by side. I don't know. I'm making a mess of explaining this, so I'm just not gonna explain it anymore. But I think that it was a cool way to compare the paints to the pencils. Long-winded explanation for no reason. Sorry. No, I did the same thing for this character, just so that they can be similar in that respect. I did the line work with the black Posca pen. I outlined the clouds in the white paint acrylic pen, the Pintor. And I lined her hair with the Posca as well. I kind of wanted to have like a glow around her. Not sure that came across, but yes, that's what that outer glowy thing is. Not very well, but that's okay. So once I cleaned up everything and put the final touches on it, we can see the end result. I ended up going in with, I believe, Derwent color pencils. I think they're the artist ones. I don't even remember. I'm sorry. Yes, they're the artist pencils. Okay, so this is basically how I ended up with this piece. As far as you can tell, there's a lot of the pencil marking left on the watercolor pencil page, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I've definitely used other color pencils and they didn't melt as well as these, so they definitely melt into the page a lot better than other color pencils that I have used. I haven't used that many, but I've used the Caran d'Ache color pencils and I wasn't impressed with them. Maybe I'll do a little review on that. But if you can see just the difference between the watercolor and the color pencil, my takeaway from all of this is maybe the color pencils as a sketch, like a thumbnail as to how you're going to do everything and how it's going to come out, and then the execution on the actual big piece, do it with watercolor. But I don't hate the roughness, if that makes any sense. I don't hate any of this. I think it makes the painting and it lends into it. So although it doesn't look as clean as this, as far as like the paint is concerned and the color laydown, I like it. I think it looks really pretty. And we'll definitely use this again and have fun with it. But I think they both came out really cute. I like the idea of meshing like the page together. I like it. So what do you guys think? Do you think the pencils are cool? Would you guys consider getting these pencils? Do you have these pencils? I would love to know. Look at those eyes. I'm telling you, like, they're looking at you. I just thought they were so cool. The tin is cool. I probably won't keep the pencils in the tin just because of space, but I mean, I use the pencils really hard, and as you can see, there's not much, like these pencils are basically gonna go a long way. They'll be in my arsenal for years to come, and I will definitely play with them. I wanted to show you the Caran d'Ache pencils when I did the swatch with them, as opposed to the Paul Ruben color pencils, like watercolor pencils. There's a significant difference. Like, I was even more impressed when I did this swatch and compared it to the Paul Rubens. I was like, that's not bad. That's not bad. So maybe that'll be my next experiment, because I did just recently get some Caran d'Ache watercolor pencils for like super cheap on clearance in Michael's. So maybe I'll do a comparison with these watercolor pencils and those watercolor pencils, and give these watercolor pencils like a fair fight, you know what I mean? But that's all I have for now, and I want you guys to have a great day, and thank you for watching, and peace and love, guys.